Hey, if you're a wholesaler and one deal can crash your mood, derail your week, and stop the rest of your business dead in its tracks, you aren't running the deal. The deal is running you. So, welcome to the roller coaster of being an entrepreneur. There are no guarantees that came when you got your LLC that it was all going to be easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? Just doesn't exist. Listen, on one day, you're going to get your contract signed and you're going to feel like you finally figured everything out, right? And then the next day, your buyer stops answering the phone and you start to panic. And then title finds a problem. Then the seller gets a little bit nervous. And then a buyer says yes. Another buyer says yes. And then the closing gets pushed back or moved forward. And then your emotions, they go up, they go down. Every single phone call, text, or email is just like an emotional roller coaster. But take a breath. I understand it because I've lived it. But I've learned that those massive highs and lows become so much worse when my focus, it was all over the place. When I was worried about selling just one deal, I stopped looking for the next deal. And when a closing had a problem, I left everything, right? I let it take over my whole day because it was all that I could think about, getting it closed so that I could grab that paycheck because I really needed it, right? Well, when something went wrong, every other part of my business slowed down with it. That is absolutely no way to build a business. And I knew that there had to be a better way. So I built a very simple system to start. I had someone focus on acquisitions, right? Their job, talk to sellers, bring in deals. My job was dispositions. I focused on finding buyers and selling those deals and making sure that we get them closed. And while I was closing one deal, there was another deal coming in behind it. Acquisitions kept feeding that pipeline. Our job over in disposition, keep turning those deals into checks. And that machine, it kept moving and I kept making money over and over, week after week. And what that meant was that if one deal died, and sometimes they do die, it was not the end of the world. If one closing got delayed, we didn't have to panic because we had other deals moving forward and other closings happening. And new sellers were always being called every single week. New offers always being made. New contracts were always coming in. And new buyers, they were always looking at our properties. And listen, one problem could no longer shut down the whole business because the business did not depend on just one deal. Now, did it still hurt when a deal died? Of course. Every single one of those is painful and feels like just a baseball bat to the gut, right? Did a delayed closing still create stress? Absolutely. But we handled the problem and we kept moving. We didn't have to start over every Monday from scratch and try to reinvent the wheel. We had a process that ran every day, every week, every single week, over and over and over again. And that is what it means to trust the process. It doesn't mean sitting around just crossing your fingers, hoping that everything is going to work out. It means knowing that what you are doing the right things in the right order. Following up with the seller, making the offer, getting the contract, marketing the property, talking to the buyers, right? Working with title, and most importantly, getting it closed, and then doing it all over again. And listen, anxiety is still going to show up. You're still going to worry about deals. That does not mean you're weak or bad at this business. It means you care. And sometimes I get this. We have a lot riding on that closing, but you cannot let one deal pull your focus away from everything else that makes your business work and get derailed. You do the next thing that you can control. That's what you have to focus on. Then you trust the process that you built. So the goal is not to remove every high and low from being an entrepreneur. That's impossible, right? The goal is to build a machine that keeps moving through them and keeps progressing forward. And that's what we're all striving for so that we can have the business, the kind of business that's predictable and pays us over and over again monthly. Then we got the freedom to do what we wanted when we left that 9-to-5 job and we got into real estate. So listen, there is a better way of selling your contracts, right? You do not have to pull away every time a problem comes up and that stop you from getting your next deal. You could stay focused on talking to sellers and getting contracts while our team will handle the buyers, the marketing, the negotiations, and the transaction coordinations with title so that this deal closes. So if you need a dispo partner, I'm here to help. Click the link below and submit your deal, and I'll partner with you today. If you don't have a deal yet, click it anyways and grab my hot market report absolutely for free. My name is David Olds, and I will see you at the closing table.